Hello, everybody. I feel quite nervous, but actually you all look quite friendly, so I think we'll be okay. I want to thank the ECP. We have been long-distance family for a long time, so it's lovely to be here. I come from Empower Foundation. It's a Thai sex worker organization working for 30 years in Thailand for promoting rights and opportunities for sex workers. Over the 30 years, 50,000 sex workers have joined Empower, including migrant sex workers from Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, China, and Burma. This is where we bring our understanding, this is where we get our strength, and this is where our evidence comes from. Today, everybody in this room is being impacted by criminalization of sex work. Because of criminalization of sex work, there's an ethnic, racial, and gender profiling of what a criminal sex worker would look like. So instead of a sweet, smart, strong Thai sex worker at the table, you get me instead because of the UK visa. So if we want to have Thai sex workers sitting here talking to you, we have to remove criminal law against sex work, number one. Yeah. In Thailand, about 300,000 sex workers are going home from work. They will have been working in karaoke bars, massage parlors, go-go bars, and brothels. 80% of the women who worked last night in Thailand are single mums before they start working, usually starting work about the age of 23 or 26, not old like me. No? And generally, they have done all the jobs available to young women without qualifications or capital before they become sex workers. Selling and buying sex was first made illegal in 1960. So after that, there have been many laws added on top. The current prostitution law is the Prevention and Suppression of Prostitution Act 1996. Under that act, it's an offence to receive anything of value in exchange for sex. It has the penalties against soliciting, associating for the purpose of prostitution, advertising, recruiting someone for prostitution, and particularly heavy penalties for involving anyone under 18 in prostitution in any way. I think it's common everywhere. The more visible people make sex work, the higher the penalties. For example, the penalty for advertising is 10 times the penalty for taking money for sex. The more visible you make sex work, the more criminal punishment will follow. Despite all the law and punishments, hundreds of thousands of people, 3 generations in fact, have lived and worked on top of these criminal models. That would include the 550,000 British men who go on holidays to Thailand every year. The temples are not that, they're very lovely, and the waterfalls. Some British men have been going back 10 years every year. No? They love elephants so much. So I think that we can say, we confidently say that criminalization of sex work has been a spectacular failure to end prostitution in Thailand or anywhere else ever. The evidence is clear, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It also doesn't reduce any of the crimes in sex work either. It does, however, have very many damaging and serious consequences as a flow-on effect to that small prostitution law. In terms of implementation of the law in Thailand, every year there is about 30,000 sex workers arrested under the Prostitution Act. That's about 10%. In many places, sex workers take it in turns to be arrested on a roster to cooperate with the police so they can meet their target. So this is a working relationship with the police or not? I don't know. the consequence of criminalization is that sex workers become a criminal. They must be treated as a criminal, not as an equal human being. They're treated as a criminal by health workers, by media, by police, by everyone must treat you as a criminal. You can't have a workplace. It's a den of vice and crime. Dens of vice and crime don't need occupational health and safety standards. Crime places don't need fire exits. They don't have to comply with any safety rules. Criminal places don't have labour inspection. They have police raids only. You cannot organise as workers in a union. You can only associate for prostitution, which is a crime. Customers cannot be customers. They have to be exploiters, abusers. What else are they? Traffickers, perverts. Those people don't need to pay properly and behave well. They're not a customer. They're already a bad man. This is how you sew the picture of criminalisation to make people are dealing with criminal. They're not dealing with working women anymore. For the migrant sex workers, the criminalisation of sex work, migration and trafficking means they run a very big risk of being arrested, detained for up to 2 years in social welfare and deported. When you're in social welfare, you are made to sew and make craft items. Most women can already sew. And then, this is supposed to give you skills to have an income. None of the skills they are teaching lead to any kind of an income that is enough for the needs of sex workers and their families. In Thailand, sex workers provide for 5 other adults. They earn at least twice the minimum wage. No other job offers you that as a woman without qualifications and without capital to earn twice the minimum wage. Every year, this actually is from 2006, $300 million is sent home to rural areas by Thai sex workers a year. $300 million a year to the rural areas of Thailand. This is bigger than any government project, any World Bank development plan. And it doesn't matter how well you crochet, you can't do that. And so criminalization has not created any viable alternative jobs whatsoever. If you want to get that training, you have to get trafficked first, and then you have to be arrested. And not everybody has an opportunity to be trafficked. So criminalization is also the tool for corruption. You can either play a regular plan or a pay-as-you-go, similar to your telephone here, no? So everybody is paying the police. There was a raid in January 27th, 2015, a raid, a very small area, just 4 small brothels. 32 women were arrested, just 32. And it was revealed that they are paying £53,500 per year in bribes. That's a tiny, no? So this is a loss of state revenue. That could be actually doing real training, not Mickey Mouse training. The shadow economy that sex work supports was found in 2003 to be worth $4.3 billion a year, is lost to state revenue. And so maybe that's interesting for the politicians. In terms of human trafficking and child labour, Empower produced a report in 2012, Hit and Run. And in that report, in that research report, we found more women are being abused as a part of the anti-trafficking strategy than are being abused by traffickers themselves. We also can conclude that trafficking and also child labour cannot be addressed in isolation from addressing adult working rights, and by criminal prohibition alone is not working and will not ever work. So treating all sex workers criminal, ignoring rights and working conditions has not solved human trafficking or child labour either. I won't talk a lot about violence because Jen has talked about that quite a lot. Most women in Thailand are meeting violent men in their homes, like everywhere else, no? Yeah. It's only when the response to the violence as a sex worker is different. The violent men are the same. It's not very common, but when it happens, I just add one point is that employers and other people don't want to get involved to support a sex worker to report because they will be charged with prostitution or trafficking. So the criminalisation actually loses support of witnesses as well. Can I just do one quote from one of the women? Okay. No. So sex work, it doesn't work. Sex work is not reduced by, and if the UK, England, Thailand follows England, it's supposed to be a wonderful place of human rights. And if the UK abuses sex workers' rights with impunity, then Thailand will continue to follow. I want to just finish, I know we're over time, but one of the sex workers from Empower, Mai Janta, she wanted to say a message to you all. She wanted to say that we understand many people are concerned about our lives and worry decriminalisation will harm us somehow. We thank you for your concern, but we would prefer your respect. We want the right to work safely and fairly in the work we've decided to do, even if you personally don't approve of our choices. Thank you.